Okay, let's have a look at 8.16. It's very similar to a previous question we did, which was 8.14, where we've got one piece being clamped between two outer surfaces. So we're actually dealing with a couple of different coefficients of friction. So the question is asking us to, what is the maximum tensile force, P, so I was pulling out that way, that can be applied before sliding occurs? And we're given the information that the friction between the wood pieces, so it's between that and the two wood, so that surface in there, the 3 is 0.2, and the wood and the clamp is 0.35, so between the clamp and the wood is 0.35. So we need to work out what P is. Okay. Alright, so question 8.16. Right, so we need to make a few comments to start with here. And the first comment that I'm going to make, since the coefficient of friction between the timber and the timber is less, which is 0.2, and that's less than the coefficient of friction between the timber and the clamp, that's where it's going to slip. It will not be slipping between the clamp and the timber. Okay, is less Okay, so what I'm actually saying is that we are going to get sliding between the timber and timber, not between the timber and the clamp. So we can pretty much ignore the coefficient of friction of 0.35 between the timber and the clamp. Okay, so what we have a normal force of 500 newtons here and 500 newtons there. Okay, so we have so we want to know P, and counteracting P is two lots of frictional forces, okay, which is mu Rn, mu Rn, stopping that. So we've got the friction between this timber and that one, and then we've also got timber between that and that as well. Okay, so P has got to be equal to two lots of mu N. Right, we know got 2 times, we know that mu between those two bits of timber is 0.2, and we know that the normal force is 500. Okay, now we don't multiply the 500 by 2 because that resolves as one lot of 500. Okay, so if we calculate all that, then P has got to equal 2 times 0.2 times 500 is 200. So if we apply a force or a pull of 200 newtons, we should be able to separate those two pieces of timber.